Welcome to Baby Lady Podcast. I'm Debbie Homer Davis and I run the largest independent nursery store in Kent. Over this time, I've been lucky enough to meet some amazing people, and some of them have agreed to join me on our podcast. We'll have managing directors, CEOs, as well as children's authors, car seat experts, and health professionals. All of these people have one thing in common. They're passionate about what they do, and they've agreed to share their knowledge and enthusiasm on our podcast. Today, I am absolutely delighted to invite to my podcast Diane Hull. Diane is an amazing woman. She is an award-winning author. She has done so many things, and I met her through the How to Be Brilliant group, and she really is brilliant. So I was thrilled when she agreed to be with us because she has lots to tell us. Diane used to be a teacher. That's right, isn't it, Diane?
Yes, I was an early years teacher for many years, and eventually I had to retire. Unfortunately, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's, and I carried on for 10 years, and then I was just too tired, suffered from fatigue, and I wasn't able to carry on anymore. So that's when I changed and started writing children's picture books.
Excellent. So is that sort of what inspired you to write children's picture books?
Well, I was concerned about children's mental health, and with the pandemic, that's only made the situation worse for them. And I feel that as early as teachers, we need to tackle the issue as early as possible, give children self-confidence and self-esteem, and prepare them to learn about the feelings and talk about the feelings. And then they'll be stand them in good stead if they have any issues later in life. And I think picture books are a great way to talk to children, to share the stories and open up the lines of communication, and get them ready for talking about things, how they're feeling and that. So picture books are really good to connect with young children.
Definitely. And what ages would you say that you aimed your books generally at?
Well, probably from about 3 years old. They've been categorised 3 to 8, which is initially you reading the book to them, and gradually the children, as they learn to read, they can read the books for themselves. So the longevity lasts quite a long time, from sharing the books, looking at the pictures, to the children reading the books themselves.
And I believe that you've just won an award as well.
I'm thrilled to bits. Yeah, the Wishing Shelf Book Awards have just issued the results, and we got a bronze medal for Be Proud to Be You. So I'm really pleased about that. Be Proud to Be Blue, I should say. So yes, it's the second in the book. The first one was Be Happy to Be You, and I was a finalist in the competition, and now I've progressed to become a bronze medal winner. So I'm delighted.
Huge congratulations. And this is quite rare as well for someone who's just started writing children books. Some people who get to be finalists have been writing books for years, haven't they?
Yeah, I've been very lucky. I was lucky to get it published by an American company. And the 2 books feature Baby Bird. This is Baby Bird, and he's a character in the books. And he's got to learn life's lessons, really. He's got to learn to be proud of who he is, rather than trying to be like everybody else. That's the main thing. So he's got to be proud of his colour, proud of his achievements, and be proud of himself. So that's the main focus of the books.
There's such a fantastic message. So tell us how the books differ. Tell us about the first book and what's different about the second book, and what led on to the progression from one to another.
Well, the first book is about Baby Bird being happy with who he is. His mum teaches him to be proud of his strengths, the fact that he wants to be like a fish, and he wants to be like a horse, and he wants to be like a frog. And his mummy said, well, think what you're good at. You're good at singing, you're good at flying, you sit up in the trees, watch the world go by. We're all different. You be proud of who you are. And in the second book, Baby Bird wants to go and play with the fishes and play with the frogs and play with the horses, and they won't let him play. And the reason they won't let him play is because of his colour, because he's blue. So Baby Bird has to come to terms with that and decide he's proud of his colour. He doesn't want to change his colour. He's proud to be blue. And so he goes back to the animals and tells them what he thinks. And I won't tell you what happens, because then you can read the book.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil it for our listeners.
He's got the strength to actually tackle what people are saying about him that's controversial. The racism, really, in this case.
it's such, to be fair, they're both books have got the most fantastic message. And I think that there's been a massive gap in early years for this type of book. Did you sort of see that there was a need there?
Yes, I think so. I think really we need to start a lot sooner with discussing feelings and letting children say how they feel, actually identifying the names for the emotions or how we feel like that. So it's okay to feel like that, what to do about it and who to talk to, and about sharing the feelings with an adult, a trusted adult or a friend. And I think then it prepares the children then for when they do need to talk about important issues, that they're used to doing that. The lines of communication are already open. So I think it's very important, yeah.
Do you hope that all schools will start to use this within their school teaching as an aid?
Yes, I think that's very important. The government has recognised the problem of mental health and has included some mental health targets in the curriculum. In the early years curriculum, they're not perhaps as strong, and I think we should start as soon as possible. I don't think the children are ever too young to learn about the feelings or to start to put into words what they're feeling and why. And that reassurance comes with it. I think that's very important. A positive sense of self is one of the greatest gifts you can give a child, the confidence to be proud of who they are, and that they'll fall back on that in times of need.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's such a powerful message to encourage children to be proud of themselves, of who they are. It's just amazing. But that's not the only amazing thing about your books, is it, Diane? You've written in a special font.
Yeah, the books are printed in a dyslexic-friendly font, and there's some evidence to show that a very clear font with certain spacing and certain weighted parts of the letters makes it easier for people with dyslexia to read. And of course, the font is suitable for anybody. It's not just for dyslexic readers, it's for any reader, but it makes it a little bit easier for those that have problems. So that's really good, because it means that the books are accessible to everybody.
And I had never heard about this. I was completely fascinated because I'd heard about this as well. I'd never come across a dyslexic font. Is that something that's well known? Is it?
There's research going on to prove how valuable it is, because different readers have different needs from a font, and it's finding a font that would suit everybody or the majority of the dyslexic readers. So there's lots of evidence, a lot of research going on to try and prove that it is beneficial to a lot of readers, but it's looking good so far. And why not try it? Why not try and help and make it easier for the dyslexic readers? All for it.
Well, it's a perfect thing to go hand in hand with your book, to do this dyslexic font as well, because you don't want to exclude anyone from being able to access it.
No, it's no good being proud of who you are and then saying, yes, but you can't read my book.
Absolutely. And do you hope that other people will adopt this font? Is it something that's quite unique to you, or have you seen other people using it?
No, the publisher the McLaren Cochrane publisher do all their books in this font, and there are a number of fonts which are similar, which have the same aim. So it's something we need to look at, really.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it's such a big thing as well, because reading is the font of knowledge. Being able to read is such an important thing. And if we can encourage more people to have access to it, it's such a brilliant thing, isn't it?
And it's certainly having problems with your reading or not finding it as easy as other people. That's bound to give problems to your self-esteem, because you feel that you're not good enough. And, we've got to boost the children and teach them that they are good enough.
Absolutely. Now, it hasn't just spawned the whole book thing, has it, Diane? There's a whole industry going on behind here. Are you going to tell us a little bit more about your baby birds?
Well, baby birds really taken off. We started a campaign to knit a baby bird for charity, first of all.
It's hard because obviously we're doing this on a podcast, so you can't see the images on a podcast, right. But we will pop, I think, a little snippet onto our YouTube channel. So, do you want to show us some of your birds?
Yeah, we've been knitting baby birds and raising money for the Young Minds charity. So we've sold the baby birds and the money's all gone to charity. So volunteers have provided the wool themselves and knitted the birds. And that's been really good. We aim to raise £100. We've actually raised over £500 now.
Wow.
So that's brilliant, and that helps the Young Minds charity to be there for all children.
And do you know how many birds have been knitted now? Do you have any idea how many?
To be honest, I've lost track. We do record everyone as they come in and go out, but there's so many in the process of being knitted and in the process of being sewn. We haven't actually got the totals yet. But you can imagine that they're £8 a bird. We've raised over £500 with selling and donations, so it's doing pretty well.
That's absolutely fantastic. So if people want to get involved, first of all, with your books, Diane, where can people buy them?
The best way is to contact me on my website, dianehull.co.uk, and there they've got all the links to buying the books.
Fantastic. And also with your Young Minds charity and the baby birds, how can they buy the baby birds? Is this also through your website?
Yes, if you contact me, then I'll arrange everything. Yeah.
So you must have turned into quite a busy lady with all this publicity. You've been interviewed loads of times this week and the last week, haven't you?
Yes, it's been very exciting. Yes, I've really enjoyed it. It's been people have really got behind Baby Bird. They've become the symbol of hope, I think, in this very difficult time. So yes, I'm very, very proud of Baby Bird.
Is there one particular achievement or one particular thing that stood out as being really exceptional?
I think really it's sharing the books with the children. And I did have a lovely letter from a lady who has bought the books to give to her local primary school because her children had mental health issues, in particularly to do with skin colour. And her children are now grown up, and she's bought some books to give to her local primary school. And I was absolutely thrilled at that, the fact they're going to be shared. I mean, I do often visits at primary schools and do lessons, based around the book. But the fact that this lady has provided her local school with the books just made my day.
That is fantastic. And I bet you must get a huge amount of satisfaction from the feedback you get from people who've actually got hold of a copy.
Well, it's been amazing, really. They've loved the story they've taken to Baby Bird, and the illustrations are fabulous. Jan Dolby, who does the illustrations, really hit the nail on the head with what Baby Bird should look like, and the other animals. So it's a partnership really between me writing the story and Jan illustrating it. But the people have enjoyed the stories, they've enjoyed the morals, and they've backed Baby Bird all the way.
So what's next for Baby Birds?
Well, without giving too much away, I have written another book. It says Keep Trying Baby Bird, and it's about resilience. Baby Bird is building a nest, and his mum is there on hand, but she doesn't do the building for him. She's there with encouragement, and he has to learn independence and perseverance because things don't go well. He can't build the nest at first, and it keeps falling down, and he has to keep trying.
That's very, very exciting. I don't know how you've had time to write another book, Diane. You've been so busy.
Yeah, well, Baby Bird must carry on with his adventures.
Well, it sounds like you've really started something now. And I really, really hope that this does get adopted by more people, because it sounds like such a worthwhile thing.
Thank you.
And is there anything you want to say to our listeners that encourage them to go out and buy the book, or anything they should know?
Baby Bird is teaching young children the very important lessons of life, and not just that, but they're enjoyable read. And to share picture books with your children is a wonderful thing. And just enjoy the books, enjoy reading.
Yeah, that is a fantastic message. I used to love picture books. My children are a lot older now, but I used to love picture books, and I don't think you can ever have too many books. Books are such a wonderful thing for small children. And do you hope to be able to get these into libraries? Because that's what I would love to see, because obviously not everybody can afford to go out and buy books. I know it's been a very difficult time for people, over the last 12 months with lockdowns. Have you had any conversations with any public libraries or anybody like that?
Yes, I used to live in Todmorden, and I have spoken to the library there, and I've been given some contact details, and they said they would hope to include them in the library. And then there's of course school libraries. There's a couple of schools already that have taken the books into their library. And the children then, of course, haven't got the worry of having to buy the books. They can borrow them and share them that way. So I think that's really, really important.
Absolutely wonderful message. So Diane, it's been absolutely such a pleasure to have you on our podcast today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
So don't forget, Diane's books are available from her website,
dianehull.co.uk.
and her books are called
Be Happy to Be You and Be Proud to Be Blue.
Diane, I think you've done such an amazing thing, and it's almost like you're doing a public service in providing these books for a massive gap in the market. So we wish you absolutely every success, and if there's anything else that we can do to help you get that message out there, then we will be happy to do it. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been lovely.
Thank you.
That's it for this week's episode. On next week's episode, I'm going to be joined by Luke Burns. Luke's the CEO of Cybex, who are a global company producing amazing, beautifully styled prams and car seats, cutting edge technology, and he'll have lots to tell us about newness. We've got some very exciting news that we're going to launch on that podcast, and you'll only hear it first here.